Hi. I guess my screen is visible. Is it visible? Yeah. Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone. It's evening here. I'm in India. So I'm working as a product security analyst at Temenos. As you all know, Temenos is #1 banking software in the world. And I'm 24. I'm a security researcher. I do web application penetration testing, and that's my major area of interest. And now I'm started to explore the cloud security part because cloud is future now, and everyone should have an awareness of how cloud is work. And I'm a bug hunter as well, and I got certified from Cisco, certified cyber ops associate. And I'm a founder of Rutex Stack and SBC CyberUp. Both are information security community where we deliver webinars and where we conduct sessions to make more awareness on cybersecurity domain. The only goal is to bring more number of people in this domain. That's why I have initiated this thing. And I'm a mentor, speaker, and blogger as well. So this is the logo of my startup thing, Rutex Stack. I have added that thing along with Open Security Summit. It gets started in the session. Give me a second. I will share all the screens. Okay. Oh, my Kali Linux is also visible. Can anyone confirm me? I just want to make sure. Yeah. Is it fine? Okay. So, okay. Cool. Thanks. Okay. Thanks for the as well. Fine. So cloud pen testing. We all know cloud security. What is cloud pen testing now? So the process of finding security loopholes in a cloud-based system. It can be any cloud, as the different providers. It can be which is actually missed by the cloud providers in the sense AWS, GCP, or Azure. So in particularly, we are going to find many different vulnerabilities or any kind of misconfigurations over the cloud, or which are missed out by the cloud provider. So that is cloud pen testing thing. And what we can do, we can use different types of manual methods, and we can use any kind of automatic tools. There are different tools that are available as well. I will tell you what kind of tools are there. And also you can choose manual method, and yeah, no issues. Fine. I will turn it on once the session goes. And so you can choose the manual method or automatic tools. The choice is yours, and it is performed under strict guidelines from the cloud service providers like AWS and GCP. So it's not like that you can go and start doing your cloud penetration testing or perform any kind of attacks. You should have a proper authorization and proper permission from the cloud service provider, so that no liability will occur from both the sides. So that is the fundamental thing. Okay. Why it's not going to next slide? I'm sorry about that. So the purpose, why we should actually take care of the cloud penetration testing thing. So the first thing, to assess the strength and weakness. And so we have different kind of advantages. We have different kind of disadvantages or weakness in both the sense, we can say. So for this, we should actually do this thing, and also to improve its overall security features or posted, so that there are some kind of missed out configuration. So to find out overall security, to make it as a better place, we should do this thing. And to identify risks, vulnerabilities, and gaps, whatever in the application, which is mobile application or web application, we are trying our best to find as many vulnerabilities as we can. But when it comes to cloud, that is always gaps, and there are some vulnerabilities that are not noted by the providers, that are not properly tested by the penetration testers as well. So to bring that thing as well, or we can say to fill that thing as well, and impact of exploitable vulnerabilities. So as we all know what happened to the log4j issue, and how much impact it caused to all the organization. So we should able to realize what kind of impact that it will bring when the vulnerability is exploited, and determine how to leverage any access obtained via exploitation. So how you can make it to a further level, what kind of further thing you can do from basic point of vulnerability. So in what are the different ways you can exploit, whether you can do privilege explosion, whether you can take any admin rights, whether you can modify any kind of data. So you have to conduct an assessment so that you can increase the severity kind of thing, or you can apply it to the whole level, whole cloud level. Common threats. What are the common threats that cause when it comes to cloud penetration testing or cloud security? So misconfigurations and data breaches. So everywhere it is misconfigurations nowadays, as it said, and data breaches is also occurring in most of the places. And it all starts with cloud. So cloud security has become playing a major role nowadays, and data breaches is also happening mostly. Data breaches in the sense like it's not only targeting the low level organization, even some kind of bigger organizations are also getting targeted by the hackers, and malware, ransomware, and vulnerabilities. So these kind of threats, it can be any malware or ransomware that is injected over your system or PC, or you want to pay some ransomware so that the hacker will release some kind of data thing, those things and all. And advanced persistent threats, insider threats. So within the organization, some kind of malicious thing, or some kind of unwanted access your employee is doing. It's not a intentional basis, but what one of the method is like hacker particularly targeting the insider for one organization, and they are working for them, unfortunately. So it's insider threats and weak identities and credentials. So in the test environment, let's take as an example. So that is a QA environment, or that is a testing team particular environment. So what we usually have a credential, which is default credentials. So you can find the admin most of the case, and QWERTY 1 2 3 4 5 6. So these kind of very big credentials will compromise internally first, and it leads to production. And without changing the credentials, when it is delivered to the customer, the breach then happens easily. So it is highly important to use the secure password. Even it is a default password kind of thing, try to keep it as a combination password, like abcd followed by hash star and 123. So this is also a kind of easy password for all team to remember, rather than simply using admin 1 2 3 4 5 6 things and all. Because when you take bob suit and start with the top 100 common passwords, so the easily it can be guessable now. And weak access management. So and also insecure APIs. The API configurations is also insecure. So when it comes to API penetration testing, that is also playing a major role. And due to this insecure API things and all, some kind of sensitive endpoints that should not be visible to the hacker or public can be identified. So this is one of the thing. Any questions after this thing? Is my voice clear and audible? Good to go? Please let me know. No questions. Okay. All fine. Thank you. Thank you. Give me a second. what we have covered now is common threads. We will see what are all the different types of stages that we should follow, what kind of steps to approach when we start doing our penetration testing, the two on the cloud. So first one is understand the cloud service providers policy. So as it said in some of the slides, I might have mentioned the CSP, which stands for cloud service provider. So we have to understand the cloud service provider policies first. So it can be any cloud service provider, as it's a AWS, GCP, or Azure. So all cloud providers, they will actually monitor their infrastructure, and they do have some threat detection mechanisms and all. So when it is happens, when that is a DDoS attack or any kind of malicious request that is coming, they will monitor actually everything. And it is also a very good thing to what we should follow. So that is what the steps to approach is. So first understand the cloud service providers policies, what they are having, what they are not having. So even if they are having, try to test it from your end as well, and create a pen testing plan. So have a blueprint kind of thing. So you, what you need to create, so in terms of applications, so what you can cover over the network virtualization, so compliance, or what you can do over automation thing when there is more number of requests, or when there is more number of applications you have in your company. And approach, what is the approach you are going to take after your findings. And data access, so any kind of data that you are going to get. So have those plans and execute the plan one by one now. And in the third phase, like you can have any tools that you wish. So it can be helpful, maybe one or two tools will help you a lot to find some misconfiguration. So we can see in the tools section. So there are many open tools, open source tools available on the market. So we can also use the thing, but make sure you execute it, and execute it on a proper basis. Like not all results can be scanned now, so you have to do some kind of manual approach as well, and observe the responses. So execute the penetration testing, and look for the response from, it can be, as I said, both manual and automation. So when it is manual, you have to analyze yourself, and you have to be careful on the responses. You have to track every responses, and that is very important. And when it comes to automated response, so you have to make sure the IP is not getting blocked for your organization, because when you start doing automation, more number of requests will be sent to the server. The moment more number of requests sent, your IP is getting, there are chances for your IP getting blocked, and you should write an letter, some kind of thing to the CSP, and you should get it back, or it will lead to some kind of liabilities, or the CSPs will take action on your companies. So make sure you do it properly with proper permissions. And after that, find and eliminate vulnerabilities, so which is the last step. After you're having some kind of positive vulnerabilities, positive cases around 5 to 10, so try to analyze the criticality, try to increase impact as well, and make sure you document everything, and try to eliminate vulnerabilities which are not required to fix immediately, and the chances of false positive, which is. And final, like so once this is done, you can similarly approach on a cycle basis for every release, or two weeks once, or 3 weeks once, so that no misconfiguration is missed from your end, and the CSP will also take care of the air penetration test. And the checklist, what kind of checklist you should make sure nothing is missed from your end as well. So first thing is SLA, which is service level agreements. As you all know, when we are opting a cloud service provider, or between kind of contract thing, so everything will be documented over there. And make sure you determine role and responsibility to maintain the cloud resources, and a proper policy has been covered between CSP and client. Policy in the sense what kind of liability in case anything is violated or anything is breached unfortunately from your end. Make sure in terms of monetary thing everything is covered, and how many number of team you are going to put over there, what kind of access they need, whether all requires privilege access or only few in a team requires privilege access. Make everything clear, and unused ports and protocols, and make sure services should be blocked. So discover the ports that are not used and protocols which are not required for your application, and make sure which is not accessed by anyone. Make sure it is private, not in public, and data which is stored in cloud services encrypted by default. So my opinion is encrypt all kinds of data in a rest motion and transit, encrypt all kinds of data so that it will be highly secure, and two-factor authentication used, and validate the OTP as well for ensuring the network security. Nowadays even two-factor authentications are getting bypassed, so response manipulation can be done. OTP timeout is not proper nowadays, and they are just validating for the sake of the parameter thing. So even if you remove the OTP and forward the request, it is getting validated. So try to make an additional checklist for OTP level security, and try to clear that thing. Yes, Sai Kumar. Or I stand. Any questions? Okay. If you have questions, like unmute and ask, or put it in the chat section. I will answer. And next is SSL certificates are purchased from repudiated certificate authorities. So make sure you check this thing as well. This is very important nowadays. Spammers and hackers are coming from different point of view that the organization couldn't imagine. Like one of this thing which shook me is, so they are creating a fake certificate authority which is looking like a actual SSL certificate, how it actually look for the trusted organization. So nowadays these kinds of scammers are there without if we are not noticing this kind of thing, so there are chances of falling in a trap. Phishing kind of attempts are happening everywhere, and also check proper input validation to avoid the web application attack. So in Cloudflare, so more number of requests can be detected to stop the XSS, SQLI injection, and the CSR of attacks, those kind of things. Also make sure it's tested from your end as well, so that web application attacks can be avoided. So do the proper input validation thing. I will pause here for your 1 second. Any questions? Everything clear? Anything you want to repeat or anything you want to ask? Please let me know over chat section or by unmuting. All good. Thanks. I cannot talk. Okay, you can ask in chat if you couldn't talk.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. Yeah, I was wondering when I get this list, so what should I do first of this? So let's say I'm on a green field, I implemented my cloud, and now someone tells me here's a list, and I recognize I haven't done anything of this.
Like, I mean, your voice is breaking actually. Can you make it louder, or can you ask in chat so that it will be clear? Sorry about
Is
that.
it better
Maybe,
now?
better, yeah.
Better. Okay, then I had the wrong microphone. Let us assume I have nothing implemented in terms of security so far. What, from your point of view, are the most important things which I should start with?
Over cloud?
You have this checklist here, right? And
Yeah.
you recommended some controls, but
Yeah.
what are, from your point of view, the most important ones?
To be frank, I have included only the important ones. When it comes to
Okay.
checklist, there are more number of cases. Like here, I have included around 6. There are 10 to 12, which is very much important. I have just shortlisted, which is more priority. So we can, I mean, you can start implementing with these things.
Okay, and here you say these are also important, so there is no order. All right, thank you.
Yeah, good. Thanks for that, Doctor. And so when it comes to checklist, we will have more number of cases. I mean, kind of sub cases. When it comes to OTP, there will be different kind of cases you can create. If you are really good at writing more number of test cases, or you can automate something. So this is the first 6 kind of very important thing that first should be implemented, or you should, or in the terms, you can name it as first priority and second priority. So second priority always have some kind of low level things, so which will not take much time. This checklist, I mean, this first priority will take more time when you are going to implement. Okay, I'm continuing now. So we have seen the checklist now, and we will see what are all the challenges we are going to face when we are at the time of implementing these kind of things. So first thing is lack of transparency. So most cases, so we will not have more number of visibilities over the cloud application. And when you are sharing the resources to one person to another, make sure you having the proper configuration. I mean, proper privileges level and policy restrictions over everything. Give me a second. I'm getting call. Sorry. Yeah. So resource sharing. So make sure when you share. So as I said, always try to keep the confidential information with you. Keep low. Even when you're sharing, don't give the high level privilege kind of thing. Give low level privileges. So and make sure you restrict the users depends on the application, so what kind of privilege levels they need. Something in the chat. Timo, at a minimum time, okay, at a minimum 2 FA, make sure your services are not accessible to the public unless absolutely necessary. Ensure that 0.016 or some such request rules are not enabled, etc. Yeah, exactly. Like what Uday has sent in the chat makes sense. Thank you, Mr. Uday, for that thing. And most concern over here is least privilege. That's what I'm also keep on talking. Make sure least privilege is implemented. And the third point is policy restrictions. So as I said, each cloud service providers will have its own policies, and they will stop doing some kind of activities over your company. So you either you should have a proper permission, or you should not do. Why these things is happening is because they will face struggle when you did some kind of attacks or anything. They should reconfigure everything, and it will cost both the organization and the cloud service provider in a trouble. So when it comes to AWS, so DOS and DDoS attacks and request flooding attacks, etc. And Azure is allowing some kind of products. They do have a different kind of things. So why I'm talking about AWS is, like, AWS is very easy for me to learn, and I started with AWS. It's not like we should prefer only AWS. So when it comes to GCP, so they by default they have phishing, spamming prevention things, and if you are sending some ransomware or any kind of trojans, it will automatically detect during the test, and it will not create harm to your cloud. And other factors, what are all the other factors is, so one machine can host multiple virtual machines, so the scope will be increased now. So these factors can also be considered. Make sure you encrypt everything as it said. So this is also, even if it is encrypted, some kind of weak encryption is used, so it is easy for hackers to crack again. Yeah. And with egress, you mean that your port cannot communicate with the outside unless it is defined in a whitelist. Hmm, I'm actually not sure about this thing. Maybe Mr. Uday should answer. Okay, I will continue then. Yeah, please. Here is the justification for why AWS thing. So it has been around the longest. So it is having more number of facilities and services that you can learn it easily over AWS learning. So you get a year to test it out for free using the AWS free tier. All you need is a single credit card or debit card. You can use it for 1 year. That is a free tier limit. So we will not go beyond free tier limit. I have used more than 2 times. This is the second time I'm using it. So I have not used or exceeded the free tier. So it is so much bigger. I really mean it. So than its competitors, which is Azure and GCP and AWS penetration testing. So in AWS, so these things can be majorly covered. And as far as I know, I have some exposure on this, which is this identity and access management. So this is very important. And logical access control, S3 buckets, bucket misconfiguration, Amazon S3 bucket misconfiguration, and database services. So when it comes to databases, so make sure that they over backend data is safely encrypted or proper algorithm is used so that it will not lead to leakage of any kind of sensitive information. So the first thing is IAM. When IAM is compromised or any kind of with any kind of misconfiguration, some kind of privileges given by normal user to admin user, so everything is gone. So he can see all the admin rights, all the admin files, so he can modify anything, those kind of things. So that is the CloudGoat CDF labs that is available over there. So you can solve and practice how you can escalate your privileges, how the normal user is getting the admin rights, and what are all the things that he can do. So I will give you the scenarios thing, but unfortunately due to time we couldn't solve much. So I will give a overview about that. So authentications are very important. So knowing how to use keys are a big deal. So okay, I'm using AWS, so how I can keep my keys safely. So even your account credentials are compromised, your keys plays a major role, and most of the people are struggling to configure the AWS CLI. But what I mean is they are not having much awareness about how they can configure it actually. But it's not a very complicated thing. It is very easy to configure when you start working on AWS cloud thing. So we will see how to install those kind of things as well. As I said, people struggle with using the AWS CLI and inserting AWS CLI keys. So it is a very easy task to configure. And Amazon, I mean AWS Learning also having how you can properly insert everything, how to migrate from one bucket to another bucket, those kinds of things. These are some kind of fundamentals they do have. And there are also misconceptions around how the keys are stored and used. So when there are two kinds of keys, access key and some other keys are over there for the AWS service which you are going to use. So how it is actually stored, you are seeing one kind of key, and when you are using over any kind of keys, so and it is random keys which is actually generated with an which is generated using a strong set of algorithms, because they are not using any kind of weak algorithm, so that they can generate or create your own key by analyzing or finding the pattern which is followed. So you can't do that thing over here, and it is very difficult as well. So you can't modify any kind of key letters or kind of things. I will show how the key look like now. So we will see how we can create a IAM user on AWS. Any questions over chat, something? Yeah, this discussion going on, not just the pod as in, let us say you're using EC2 S3 bucket will not want to allow old, which is, yeah, I think it would be useful to add your example of S3 and EC2. Okay. I mean, the good interaction over to experts, I can say. Even this things is new, what egress is meaning, and EC2 S3 bucket is fine, CIDR is fine. So how you can implement and all, that is I'm not aware of this thing. I'm ready to learn next time, or I will have to do a bit of research over here. So is that good? Anything you require to explain again, any doubts? Hope I'm not boring everyone. Okay, we will go to the IAM part. So this is the services console. So what we are, so as I said, why AWS is best is they are providing more number of services which is user friendly. You can learn it easily by seeing the GUI. So no manual instruction required. If you don't know anything, you can refer the AWS learning community. I'm sorry, I have to search IAM. Yeah, here it is. Thank you. So we will see how you can create a new user over Amazon Identity and Access Management Console. So go to users, and you can see the users which I am already created over here, CG, Chris, test and all. So let me click on add user. I have added the steps over here as well. Go to services, IAM users, add user, and in username you have to give programmatic access, and you can choose for, let's say, OSS March. Okay, so you have to choose the credential type. So now when it is programmatic access, so by default you will have an access key ID and secret access key. When I talked about keys, these two things I have mentioned. So once this is generated, you can actually use it to log into AWS CLI on Linux. So that's why we are going to choose programmatic access. And password thing, by default it will generate a password where you can log in using that, and you can choose from attach existing policies directly. Here it is having more number of policies, so around 737. So what we need is administrator access. Click on next, and this is optional. So if you need to create any other new key than this thing, you can create. So since this is optional, it is not required for us. And we have creator. Let's click on create user now. Yeah, now it is created. So I'm not going to show my secret access key. So just kidding. Why? Because like even with this access key ID and secret access key, my free tier limit can be used in such a way that it can be completely exceeded in overnight or within a week. So I mean, once that is exceeded, I have to pay for the services that I'm going to use. So that's the reason. And here it is an access key ID. The key will look like this only. You can download in a CSV format where you will have the user ID and secret access key, everything, and how you have created with the time and all. So when you click this secret access key, you can get your secret access key thing. Okay, and this is how you have to create a AWS IAM user, and name usage is important. What I mean is, so when we are using in AWS CLI, as I said, people are making mistakes over some kind of case sensitive thing or a space thing. So even if you given an extra space over AWS CLI, it will not work. So the usage is very important. Here I have created capital OSS March. Instead of capital O, when I give small OSS and March, it will not work because it is highly sensitive. You have to give exactly, and the name usage is very important, as it said. And how to set up CloudGoat, PIP, and Terraform. CloudGoat is the CTF lab for cloud penetration testing. So you can see over here. I will share the link, and you have for solving this you have to set PIP and Terraform over your Linux. I will put this in the chat. And for CloudGoat, it is from Rhino Security Labs. Yeah, I will share this thing as well. So let's see an overview. Vulnerable by design, which is AWS deployment tool. You can clone it with a Docker image and you can use it as well. And here you have a multiple labs kind of thing where you can learn a lot about cloud misconfigurations, cloud penetration testing thing. I will share this in chat as well. So once, okay, I will open my resource now. So over here, I have added, when you go to resources, I have mentioned how to set up CloudGoat. Actually, I have already installed on my Linux machine over here. I was trying to execute this CloudGoat things. Unfortunately, I couldn't find time to actually get it resolved. It's been more than 3 to 4 months, so I'm getting more issues as this Terraform upgrade, everything and all happened now. So 1 second. Yeah, so you can install it like this. You can, once you have cloned these two commands is very important, so it will update everything, and you have to give proper permission as well. Once that is done, you have to install Terraform. So how you can do is go to Terraform downloads.html and download the latest version. As it said, the latest, due to this latest version, more problems I have faced over here, so it's really a struggle. We'll see. And once extracted it, move it to your bin directory, and you can check for Terraform version to check whether it is actually up to date. Yeah, so version 1.1.7, so this is the latest version. Okay, this is how you should set CloudGoat, PIP, and Terraform. So as I said, this is the very easy thing. So people think that this is very complicated, but it's not. So this is by default. You can do it right away. I'm already done. Let's see what has happened. So just a single command that will install the AWS CLI on your PC or system laptop, and we'll see the version now. It will work because I have already installed. Yeah, so you can see right now. So yeah, and you can check whether it is installed or not using AWS-FN version. Okay, how you can set up the CloudGoat profile actually. So as it said, the CloudGoat is a cloud penetration testing labs kind of thing. So you need an AWS admin account with proper valid payment so that you will have a free tier. It is a scenario based. There are close to 8 scenarios, I guess, and it is uses AWS CLI and Terraform. So this is the pre-requirement what we have done now. And once you have installed this thing, you have to configure ./cloudcode.py, and you have to config with profile by creating any kind of profile name. We will see how. My cloud code is over here. Sorry. Yeah. So ./cloudcode.py configure profile. So as I said, now what we have created here exactly, it should be the same name, OSS _March. So I'm naming it in the same way. Oh, my bad. It's config. Yeah, so it is, I'm already having the file called test. It is asking to replace. I'm giving yes, and I'm giving the name again, OSS March. Yeah, now it is saved. So once you have saved this thing, now you have to whitelist your IP. Why? Because when the network is changed, so that it will not affect what you are working on. I'm clicking yes. Yeah, now IP is also whitelisted and created. This is how you should actually configure the profile over AWS CLI. And my profile is OSS March. So it will ask for access key. So the my access key is here. Now it is asking for secret access key, which is over here. uh, you have to paste it, the secret access key here. When you see most of the write-ups, or when you see most of the findings related to this key things and all, they have hidden the secret access key, and to be frank, they have even hidden the access key ID also. Why? Because when it will seriously affect your free tier thing. So once you know this thing, unfortunately, if the end user didn't deleted the user, or didn't notice the free tier kind of thing, it's gone. This is this I have actually faced. This thing I got to know from one of my friend. He faced the problem. So you can give a region, it can be anything, or you, by default it will take any. I'm giving you a one, and output format by default it is JSON. So now it is configured properly. So haven't given the AWS secret access key. So this is how AWS CLI will be look like. So how you should work on, and we will see what are all the scenarios that is available. So it's already time. I think I have took more. I'm going to took more time. Yeah, so this is the 6 different scenarios, which is I am privilege escalation by rollback. So this is you can do using rollback method. And cloud breach S3, this is the misconfiguration of S3 bucket misconfiguration. When you solve this thing, it will leak some kind of very sensitive data, because this is intentionally vulnerable. And I'm privilege escalation by attachment. So this is another thing, and easy to assess sort of. And remote code execution using web app, and code build secrets. So these are all the different scenarios. And a common S3 misconfiguration. Okay. Yeah, so when it is S3 misconfig, most of us will already know about S3 misconfiguration, because only thing which entire people or entire organization familiar with is IAM and S3 misconfiguration. So what is the misconfiguration happening over S3 is, first thing is permission. So when you are deploying, you should must note the permission what you are going to use. You should decide if bucket is publicly accessible. All files hosted can be accessed by any part of the application. So here the problem is anyone can find the bucket by name, and if it is not properly configured, and they will have access. And what details or information present over the bucket will be seen by the intruders or hackers, you can say. And encryptions again. So on processing sensitive data for your organization, this is very crucial. So highly recommended to encrypt, and to implement the sensitive data, it is always advisable to encrypt everything, data in transit, at rest, at motion again. And so that you can protect your data from attackers or unauthorized personals. And audit logs, so S3 buckets do not save audit logs by default. This is the feature over there. And if you mistakenly open the bucket to the public by any chance, or the person who worked in the audit by mistakenly open, so you will not be able to review who accessed which file. So this is the serious concern if you made it to public, and it should be turned on for all buckets that contain sensitive data. So if you are storing any high sensitive information over customer details, or you are collecting any card numbers or CVV kind of thing, and you are storing it in a bucket, so make sure it is private, not public. And next is data classification. We can share some data to be accessed publicly. So it's not that all kind of data should be private. So there are some data that should be made available to public, no? So it can be static images about your organization, and FAQ kind of images or FAQ things. And you have to particularly determine what data you are going to make it as public and which one to protect. So make sure you organize everything in a proper folder, so that you don't get mixed, or the other person who is going to work again will not get confused between private and public data. So make sure you have a proper readme.txt kind of thing, or configure anything over there in the folders. So compromising credentials in AWS. So how the credentials are getting compromised. One is Git repository misconfiguration. So many sensitive details like AWS keys can be found in GitHub, and by social engineering, phishing kind of thing, and reusing the leaked password. So once the data breaches has happened, even after seeing the data breach leaked passwords, people are not changing their passwords, because they thought that they are not going to get affected by this. But some days somehow they will face the problem and breach in third party applications using the same email or same phone number which they are having personal over all kind of third parties application will land you in a trouble. So have an alternative as well. And internal threat, so these are all the ways the credentials are compromised. And the last topic is securing cloud endpoints. So how you can secure public cloud and private cloud endpoint security. So when it is public, as it said, it is always risk, and it is more vulnerable to attackers. Why? Because it is outside of control, and what we will decide is, so when it is made as public, we will not pay more attention. So with that public resource thing, they will keep escalating the privileges, or they will keep on exploiting the vulnerabilities, and they will try to access sensitive info and all. And it can be challenging to identify endpoints, understand access controls, and establish secure configurations, as this can work differently for each cloud provider. So even it is public, it is kind of challenging, because like Azure, it will work like one thing, and for AWS it will work like other thing. So depends on cloud service provider, it will highly differentiate, and it is obviously not going to be the same endpoint. And the private cloud endpoint security, it is secure. I mean, it is secure better than public cloud. and it can also be impacted. And how it what are all the ways that it can impact is insider attacks, so by without any intention they are doing, and phishing, people with intention is also doing, and phishing kind of thing, data exploitation, etc. So it is fully controlled by the organization and runs in a local data center only. Chances of getting attacks are less if it is properly configured, and no insider threats or phishing awareness they do have in a company. It is completely good. And these are all the different tools. So one is SOASTA cloud test, and Lodestorm, Blaze Meter, Nextpose, App the WAC. So as it said, keep on telling about these different tools kind of thing. I haven't used this many tools. I have worked on Blaze Meter only. Other things I just got to know, but I haven't practiced over here. And what is the best practices that you can do? So always work with an experienced provider of cloud penetration testing. What I mean experienced provider is, so you are having an application, you have to decide which cloud service provider that you need for your organization. Don't decide based on the cost basis or more number of functionality basis. Make sure you decide whether it is suitable for your organization. It will help you in a long run, because you are choosing one cloud service provider for this year, and for next year you're going to choose one. It will land you in a trouble. What I mean is, you have to migrate your big data and you have to pay for that. And when you are migrating, there are chances of data are getting missed. So decide and choose it in a long run, and understand the shared responsibility model. So shared responsibility model is, that is always part where cloud service provider plays and the client plays. So make sure you understand, and also understand any cloud service provider service level agreement and rules of engagement. Make sure you noted everything, and make sure what you want, tell them clearly, define the scope, that is for what you need, what purpose you are required, and determine the type of testing, whether it is black box or white box. So make sure you always practice this thing, and codify expectations and timelines for both your security team and an external cloud pen testing company. So make sure everything is on track, and make sure you tell them clear, and establish a protocol for a breach or live attack. You are testing something, and in some cases you haven't secured the endpoint, or you made something as public for an hour. At the time, some hacker came into the server, and some attacks happened, so some kind of breaches happened. Make sure what will cause you in a trouble once this has happened. Make sure you note this disaster recovery kind of thing as well. And key trends, so the shift toward the cloud, everyone now is unstoppable. And the skilled security professionals, according to GIA, is very low. So there are very low number of people over here. Even I started with web penetration testing part only, but since I started to work in cloud, and I started finding more interesting, and that too in cybersecurity, like you have to keep on learning, no? And IAAS and SaaS have highest tech growth rates comparing to others. And now it's 2022 already, and the cloud adoption predicted to be double the percentage from now. So this is before COVID. So everything, it started with COVID. So it is a catalyst for companies to move on. So before that, no one is ready to pay so much of money for the cloud service providers. Now they really understood why it is very much important. Now it's like cloud first to cloud now mentality, more common nowadays. So these are the resources I have included, and you can, I will share the slide with the team as well, so you can check this. CloudCode CTF, it will be really helpful to understand the scenarios. And if possible, next time, over for next session, I will particularly present a topic on CloudCode CTF challenges solving. That will really be helpful. So this is my website, and where I have added where I am working and what is my achievements, everything and all. And if you want to connect me over LinkedIn and you have anything to share with me, or anything that I should more focus on these things. Hey Rakesh, you are missing this thing on cloud. Please make sure you check this one also. I'm open to hear suggestions as well, because I'm just now starting my career, so I'm keep on learning. So I'm happy to hear suggestions, and this is my Twitter ID. Thanks everyone. Please feel free to ask questions and share your feedback as well. Practical content, it's actually I've planned, but due to this Terraform misconfiguration, I couldn't able to do it. As I said, I will make an session during next summit, particularly for CloudGoat CTF. You can work on CloudGoat CTF if you're really interested. It's not that much complicated thing. You have to you should know more about AWS CLI, and you should ready to face the errors. Nothing complicated. Please share your feedbacks, and if you have any questions, you can ask. Hope you all got something new from this guy.
So, any more questions before we're going to end this session?
Thanks, Mr. Uday, for your kind words. We can wind up. Anything else? I took more time, I guess. It's not like that. Hope you enjoy.